Welcome to the HOTS 8 simulation video on rate decisions. This is the rate decision screen that you see in front of you. As with all decision screens, there is an icon with a white question mark on a blue background, and that will bring you to the user guide for more information about that particular page. Now, there's additional videos from the software that can help you. And please keep an eye on the left side here. This only has one screen, but some pages of the user guide have multiple. On your rate screen, there are a number of different activities. First of all, you have weekday rooms and weekend rooms, followed by weekday and weekend executive rooms and weekday and weekend suites. When you begin your simulation, you only have rooms. You need to build executive rooms and suites. And we'll get to those decisions later on. If you don't have them constructed, you will not be able to enter information. Now, the rates here are based on the full rate for weekday and weekend rooms, but there are three types of discounts you can offer. Your room rates include breakfast after the stay. So you can offer a discount if they do not get breakfast. You also can offer a discount as a non-cancelable room, meaning that if they don't show up, you get to charge them and they cannot cancel once it's booked. And finally, there is a discount available if they book 3 or more nights. So although you're setting your rates high, in this case, there are substantial discounts available. And you can set those discounts for any type of room. Now, the next box down has conferences, groups, and events. And it's very important to understand what these mean. Conferences means a room rate for the night's stay. It includes 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It also includes meeting space where they are going to be having events going on during the day as part of a larger, big conference. In this case, you can apply a discount for weekends if you want to. There's also a very important revenue split function. So, of the $310 rate, 65% is going to rooms and will be reflected in your average daily rate and RevPAR. 15% is going to food and beverage revenue, and that will be again split into each of the 3 meal periods. And finally, 20% is going to conference room rental. After conferences, you have groups. Now, group rates do not include 3 meals. They only include the breakfast that a normal rate includes, as well as dinner. There is no lunch, and there is no conference room assigned to it. That does not have the possibility of a weekend discount. There's again a revenue split. So here, 70% of that rate of $250 will go to your room revenue, while 30% will go to your food revenue and be split between breakfast and dinner revenue. And then finally, you have events. This rate is not really a room rate at all. Events are maybe a wedding or some social occasion being held at the hotel. This is the price of a catered meal at your hotel. You may or may not provide a weekend discount. And the revenue split is only food and conference rooms. There is no room rate. All of the revenue gets moved into either food or conference rooms, and the food all goes as dinner revenue. We also have a box for contracts. And you can see here, there's some check marks. So this group has some contracts that they applied for and were accepted, and one that is eligible to apply for but has not been applied for yet. If you see a contract pop up and you want to apply for it, simply check the checkbox. And that will notify the instructor that you've asked for it. And the instructor will look at all of the people who applied for the contract and choose the one offering the lowest rate. How do you offer rates? That's right here in your minimum rate in the contract box. So they're willing to accept a $50 rate for weekday or weekend. Now, it's important to note when you apply for a contract, you agree to sell the rooms for that contract at the rate you had listed here when you bid on the contract. So when you mark that check mark, whatever's there is what you're willing to stick with. You have to sell them the rooms at their rate for the rest of the simulation, however long is left. Now, if a new contract pops up and you change these rates to 100 each and you apply for that new contract at 100, great. The new contract's at 100, the old one would still be at 50. And when you click on more information next to any contract, it will show you what it means. So here we have Sunthing Vacations, 0 weekday rooms, 1,640 weekend rooms. Those rooms are spread over the period of October through March. They are only willing to pay a maximum of $55. When you apply for it, it has to be authorized by the instructor. You must have ample parking at your property before they would be willing to give you the contract business. And they do require at least level 2 for in-room entertainment and complimentary items. Every contract will have different characteristics. So Big Shot Movies has lots of weekday and weekend rooms. They're from April to September, but they have a lot of requirements before you're willing to bid on that piece of business. They are paying a $150 rate per room. Again, like all the other statistics in this simulation, it changes every time. So the contract that you see in one round may not be there next round, or it might be there under the same name, but the numbers and requirements might be completely different. So always keep an eye on that contracts and always put rates. If you just have zeros here and hit update, it may show nothing available. As you change these rates and hit update, things may become available if you have a rate that is above 0, but below the maximum rate they're willing to pay. And whatever the maximum rate they're willing to pay, you could bid based on that. But remember, you are competing against other student groups simultaneously. They may put in a lower amount and get the business over you. So the final important piece of this screen is this little check mark right here that says set prices for all weeks. When you do this and save it, all future weeks have those rates. However, if I uncheck that, I can now set rates for any week over the next 3 months. Now, I can copy week to week, but this allows me a great deal of flexibility. If I know that there's a particular week where things look really busy, I could go to just that week and raise the rates. Or if I know there's 3 or 4 weeks coming up that are a little slower, I could go to those weeks and lower rates just for those weeks and keep maximizing your revenue by maximizing rate when you're busy, maximizing occupancy when you're not as busy. So however you choose to set the prices is up to you. And remember, always save changes before you change screens. If you change tabs for decisions without saving, you may lose the information. Also, only the person who is in control for your hotel can save changes. So if you're not in control and you put in a bunch of information, it will not save. That wraps up all of the rate decision information. Remember, every time you use the simulation, end it by clicking log off.